Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today we go to Iowa in the Xfinity Series and Pocono in the Cup Series, and we had Carl Edwards back in the car for the Xfinity Series race, and it didn't go too well. We had him here in the car, I believe, for the first Iowa race, and it didn't go very well there either, and it was kind of the same story here today in Iowa as he would try to work his way forwards pretty early on in this event after starting in the 20th or something, but unfortunately Carl would run into some trouble as you see him now going to make a move 3 wide into turns 1 and turns 2, and this is where it would all go wrong as you'd make contact with the car on his outside, and he'd make even more contact, and around he would go and into the outside wall, and they would get T-boned by the 8 there in the left side, and that would completely take Carl out of the race. So it would ruin everything. He'd finish 40th, unfortunately for us, so that's another DNF for this team this season, and now we got to set our sights on the next race, which is Watkins Glen for the Xfinity Series. So hopefully we can have him run better. Actually, I think we'll have a different driver in the car for Watkins Glen, but now it's time to set our sights on the Cup Series race in Pocono, a track we've won at, we finished second at, so hopefully we can run really good here today in this episode. And as we came to qualifying now, coming through turns 3, and it was going to be a decent lap. I felt like I could have done better now as we come through down the front straight away. It wasn't going to be the best lap on the earth as we come through to set a 51.084, and we will start from the 15th starting position as we get ready to go green here in Pocono. So let's hopefully move forwards and compete for a win today in the Tricky Triangle.
Today, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series makes its final stop at Pocono Raceway for the running of the Gander Outdoors 400. Now, it's always fun coming to this unique 2.5-mile triangle-shaped speedway. All 3 turns are different, and the banking in those turns is far less than most tracks of its size. The 3 straightaways are all different lengths, too. This track operates more like a road course than a speedway with all the gear shifting required. That means crew chiefs will once again be on the hot seat as they try to find that perfect setup that will get their drivers to victory lane.
Alright, we are ready to go green for the Gander Outdoors 400 at Pocono Raceway. Chase Elliott starting in the back after an unapproved body modification during qualifying. And there's your front row with Keselowski on the pole and Almirola starting in the second position as we move up one spot due to Elliott being sent to the back as we're ready to go green here in Pocono behind the 1 of Kurt Busch as the green flag is out, and we are going alongside the 40 of Jamie McMurray starting from P14 as we come through across the line. Jimmy Johnson a few rows back with William Byron, who won last episode. A big surprise winner there now as we take the long stretch down into turns 1. Keselowski in command as they head down into turns 1 for the first time. Larson looking to my inside now, as well as Ty Dillon as we come through the center of the corner. Now out of turn 1, still sitting now here in P15 as Keselowski's clear for the lead ahead of Almirola, so he's certainly in command early on now as we kind of pull away from this group of cars behind me as we come through down towards the tunnel turn. So I decided to take full advantage of that and get in behind Larson so I can be on this bottom lane now as we come through out of the tunnel turn behind the 2 Ganassi cars battling side by side early on in this first lap as we head down into turn 3 for the first time as Keselowski leads over second place of his teammate Joey Logano as we look to the inside of Kurt Busch as we come out of turn 3, clearing Kurt Busch, as well as looking to the inside of his brother Kyle Busch as we're going to take it 3 wide with Kyle Larson and Martin Truex Jr. as we come through across the line, giving a little bit of a side draft to the 42, trying to stall his momentum so he can't clear me, but he is still able to do so, so we would fall in line behind him. And as we came through, just continuing to follow him as we came through the tunnel turn at this point, looking to the inside of Ryan Blaney, moving into the top 10 as we make contact. But we would be able to pass him and get up to P9 and stay here for a little while as our teammates Hamlin would get to my back bumper as we went down into the tunnel turn, and he's going to send it up my inside as we make contact with Denny Hamlin. But we make a big save right there, as that certainly could have went wrong real quick, but we make the save and hang on as we went down into turn 3. So I went into the tunnel turn and just didn't get the car pinned down like I needed to, and Hamlin, he took full advantage. He sent it up my inside as I was still trying to get to that bottom, and we just connected. Unfortunately, that's not the first time this season either that me and my teammate of Denny Hamlin have gotten into each other there, as you see Keselowski now leading still over now second place of Eric Almirola as he had gone past Joey Logano, who had passed him earlier in this race as we come through turns 1, closing in on the back of the 18 of Kyle Busch. He's going to take it 3 wide with Hamlin and Larson up ahead, and we're going to get down behind Kyle Busch to give him a little bit of a shove down the straightaway as we head down towards the tunnel turn. And I certainly feel like we have a good amount of speed in this car, at least top 5 speed as we go down into the tunnel turn. Hamlin and Busch going to go wide, and that's going to slow up both Hamlin's and Larson's momentum. So we would get past them, and we would also get past Ryan Newman as we came to the final lap of this first stage. You're seeing here we had the helmet cam for this race, so you're going to see a little bit of helmet cam footage here on this final lap in this first stage as we just continue to follow Kyle Busch. We got past Ryan Newman, like I said, up to P6, but that was as far as we could get as you see Kyle Busch and Joey Logano battling side by side just up ahead as we head down into the tunnel turn for the final time here in this first stage as we try to maybe get up there and get 5th in the stage, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen as we get a little bit loose there through the tunnel turn now as we come down the straightaway heading down into turn 3 for the final time here in stage 1 as Ryan Newman lurks behind as we go into the corner. Boyer right on Newman's back bumper as we come through the center of the corner. Keselowski started on pole and it looks like he's going to be in command at the end of stage 1 as we come down the front straightaway. We are going to come through to get P6 in the first stage as we're about to see. I think Keselowski might have actually missed out on the stage victory, but we're about to find out here in just a moment as it was Eric Almirola who won the stage. So yes, Keselowski misses out as Almirola was able to get to the lead. We would come to pit road, 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires as we're ready to go green from P6 here in stage 2. We know we're going to drop positions at the end of stage 2 due to pit stop, so we need the best finish we can here as the green flag is out in the second stage. Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, the 2 Stewart Haas racing cars side by side as we head down towards turns 1. Keselowski, Kyle Busch on that second row, and myself and Joey Logano here in row 3 as the inside behind Logano got an awful start now as Newman's going to take advantage and look to my inside as we come through turns 1 now as we are stuck on this top lane as me and Newman getting close there as we come out of the corner heading down the straightaway using that draft from Kyle Busch, trying to propel myself ahead of Ryan Newman as we head down towards the tunnel turn, and we are going to be able to clear ourselves over Ryan Newman and take over that 6th position as we come through the tunnel turn. Now Logano and Busch going wide as well as Keselowski and Harvick, and that allows me to look to the inside of Kyle Busch as we come through down the straightaway heading down into turn 3 as well. We do get to look to the inside of Kevin Harvick and we try to take the position away from him as we come through the center of the corners. Eric Almirola leads over the 2 Penske cars of Keselowski and Joey Logano as we come down the straightaway, clearing Kevin Harvick for the moment and taking over P4 as we head down the straightaway, closing in on the back of Logano now as we have a chance to maybe look to his inside as we go down into turns 1 as we try to make the move, but we get sideways and get onto the apron there, but we make a save there. As soon as I got on the brakes going into the corner, the back end just stepped out on me and I went down to the apron, so Harvick got past me, he got past Logano, and as we came through with 6 to go in the second stage, we had run the 22 back down and we would look to his inside once again going down into turns 1, but hopefully this time it goes a little smoother, and it certainly would. As we came through the center of the corner, we would completely blow on past the 22 of Joey Logano and take over that 4th position, and as we came through now at the end of lap 5 of 10 in the second stage, we had run down Harvick and Keselowski, now using Keselowski's drive to get alongside the 4 of Harvick as we head down into turns 1 as Eric Almirola continues to lead as Harvick still on my inside as we come through the center of the corner now as we try to get past him now as we go a little bit wide there, destroying my momentum as we come out of turn 1, and that would allow Keselowski and Harvick to both stay ahead of me as we came to the final lap of the second stage. Eric Almirola still had the lead at this point as we hit the white flag in the second stage as we head down into turns 1 behind Keselowski and Harvick, who battled it out for that second position. Kyle Busch behind me has started to reel me in now as we come out of turn 1 on the back bumper of the 2 of Keselowski as we try to take advantage and look to his inside, but he has the draft and I just couldn't quite get to his inside, so we get back in behind him and try to set him up for the exit now of the tunnel turn going down into turn 3. We back up the entrance a little bit in the tunnel turn to try and build up the best run we can, but we get a little bit sideways going through the tunnel turn, but we still have momentum now as we head down into turn 3, looking up the inside of Keselowski as we come through now into the 3rd turn for the final time in stage 2, side by side with the discount tire Ford as Almirola is going to come through to easily win the stage as Keselowski edges us out at the line and we get P4 in the second stage. So certainly could have been a little bit better, but we're now going to have to give up a good bunch of positions here because we need 4 tires. If we take 2 tires, we're going to have a spinning loose car later in this race. So we give up 18 positions and drop to P22 for the start of this final stage. So we certainly have work to do, but I'm confident we can make up these positions as the final stage is underway here in Pocono alongside, I believe, Cody Ware in the 51 now as we give a shot to the back bumper, Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman, who are not having very good runs in this Hendrick team today as we head down towards turns 1 for the first time in this final stage. It's not a long last stage, and that's what makes this final stage even harder for us now as we use this outside line to my advantage, as I used this last time in Pocono when we got put to the back. I usually always tried to make the inside work, but it wasn't working last time, so I jumped up to the outside and gained a bunch of positions, so I certainly learned a little bit of a trick here when we get sent to the back, and it certainly pays off there as we come through the tunnel turn now, being a little bit cautious, making sure I don't run into the side of anyone like Alex Bowman as we came through the tunnel turn there, as it's pretty easy to get door slammed by someone in the tunnel turn, but thankfully we escape without any issues as we head down into turn 3 behind the 43 now of Bubba Wallace as we came through on the exit of the corner. McMurray pushing up now as Bowman's going to force a 3 wide between him, McMurray, and Bubba Wallace as we come through now across the line, trying to stick our nose up the inside of McMurray as Bowman left a hole, and we are able to get to that inside line 3 wide with McMurray and Wallace as we head down into turns 1 side by side with McMurray. Now moving up into P16 as we come through the center of the corner. Eric Almirola continues to lead this race as he is looking for win number 1 on the season. And as we go down towards the tunnel turn, almost making a 3 wide with Blaney, but we do get clear of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. at least and take over P15 now as we come out of the tunnel turn, building up that run on Blaney, and we look to his inside as we head down into turn 3. So quickly clicking off positions as time is also quickly running out here in this race in Pocono as we come through turn 3, closing in on the back of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, who's not having the best run today in Pocono as we head down the straightaway, closing in on his back bumper. We would look to his inside and give him a little bit of a side draft just to make sure he couldn't pull away from me as we went down into turns 1. We would be able to get past Jimmy Johnson as we came through the corner, so continually moving our way through the field. And as we came through now on lap 32, closing in on the back of our teammate Denny Hamlin as we had gotten past Daniel Suarez, moving into P12 as we're side by side with our teammate of Hamlin. A little bit of contact earlier in the race with Denny, but we're not going to really let that affect how we race him right now as we head down into the tunnel turn. We would be able to come through side by side still with Denny as we continue to battle down towards turn 3, closing in on the back of Ryan Newman, using his draft to just help me out a little bit now as we come through turn 3. We would be able to clear Denny and move up into P11 with less than 10 laps to go in this race, and now as we come out of turn 3 down the straightaway, quickly closing in on the back of Ryan Newman with help from the draft, of course, as we look to his inside now with 8 laps to go, give a little bit of a side draft to him as we pull away from him just to make sure he can't side draft me back as we head down into turns 1. We would be able to take the position away from Ryan Newman and re-enter the top 10. We would then set our sights on the next group of cars up ahead of Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch, and whatnot as we came through now on lap 33, just closing in on the final handful of laps of this race as we quickly have the speed to run down these cars ahead. As you see, the gap certainly closing between myself and Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, all these cars up ahead. We're certainly going to need some help if we want to win, though, as we do get that help now as we come out of turn 3. The caution would fly as Eric Almirola is still out front, as obviously we're not going to come to pit road as we get ready to go green late in Pocono now behind Kyle Busch alongside Clint Boyer as the green flag is out. Just 4 laps remain once we cross the line here in Pocono on the back bumper of Kyle Busch. We hadn't had a caution all race, but now we finally get one at the end in Pocono now as we just about made it 3 wide up the middle between Busch and Harvick, but I thought way better of it as they also kind of close the door now as we head down into turns 1 side by side with Ryan Newman in the 6 car, trying to get the best restart as possible. Obviously being on the outside isn't what we necessarily needed to have happen, and we're going to make a 3 wide between Newman and Kyle Busch as we come down the straightaway, clearing Newman now, so we're on the inside just like we need as we head down into the tunnel turn side by side with Kyle Busch. Not the tunnel turn right there that I needed, so certainly that holds up my progress a little bit now as we come down the straightaway, approaching just 3 laps to go at this point as we head down into turn 3. Kyle Busch going to shut the door on me, making sure I can't make a move late up his inside as we come through the center of the corner. The 2 Busch brothers battle side by side as we come down the front straightaway, closing in on the back of Kurt as we're going to look to his inside as we come through side by side with Kurt Busch as we come through down towards turns 1. Almirola continuing to lead now over second place of Kyle Larson as Truex and Harvick battle it out for that 3rd position as we come through the center now of turns 1 on the inside. side of Kyle Busch, making it 3 wide as we come out of the corner. 3 wide with him and Joey Logano as we try to get whatever positions we can. But Kyle had a lot of momentum there as we give him a little bit of a side draft again as we head down towards the tunnel turn. 3 wide with Busch and Logano, and we're going to take advantage of them pushing wide, but Busch is able to keep the momentum up and stay ahead of me now as we come down the straightaway, and he would pass Kevin Harvick as we approach Harvick's back bumper, approaching now the white flag as we just passed Brad Keselowski for P7 as we close in on the back of Kevin Harvick for that 6th position, but we end up getting a caution coming to the white flag, and that would obviously force overtime for us late here in Pocono. And this gives us a chance for a really good finish as we're restarting on the inside line as overtime is underway here in Pocono. Eric Almirola, Kyle Larson on the front row, first and second, as we're going to get a great launch and go 3 wide with Kyle Busch as we head down towards turns 1 for the first time here in overtime, closing in on the back of Clint Boyer, as well as Larson gets a pretty solid restart, but as he goes into turns 1, he's likely going to fall off as we still stick it up the inside of Kyle Busch as we sit P5 at the moment now as we come out of turns 1. Almirola clear for the lead as Boyer and Larson battle side by side as we head down towards the tunnel turn, still side by side with Kyle Busch, and we really need to get past Kyle Larson quickly if we want a chance to win this race, and we do look to his inside through the tunnel turn as he comes through, though he's going to hold on my outside as we come down the straightaway, making a little bit of contact with the 42 as we head down towards turn 3, but this should be a good chance for me to get clear of Kyle Larson, and we do just that now as we come through the center of the corner, moving ourselves into that 3rd position as we come through down the front straightaway. Eric Almirola has dominated this race, and he will take the white flag here in Pocono. And this battle for the victory is going to come down to the final few corners now as we close in on the back of Boyer and Almirola, the 2 Stewart-Haas racing cars, as we head down into turns 1. Keselowski behind me as we hold on to the position and look to the outside of Boyer now as we come into turn 1, heading down the straightaway, a chance to get past him, and I figured that it's not going to be any use battling side by side right now, so I'm going to try and push him to get to the inside of maybe Eric Almirola as we head down towards the tunnel turn now as Keselowski lurks right behind as we try to get the best tunnel turn possible, and we do get a pretty good exit now as we send it to the inside of Boyer, heading down towards turn 3. It's going to come down into the last turn, side by side with the 14 now of Clint Boyer. Almirola's in command as the 2 hits me in the left rear, and contact there is made as we go into the outside wall with Boyer as we're stuck in the outside wall now, and that's going to completely ruin our chances at a good finish now as we're going to come through to get P10 in Pocono as Eric Almirola would win. And really, Brad Keselowski just kind of sent it in to turn 3 a little bit too aggressive as I was there, and he managed to hit me in the left rear, causing that incident, so we still managed to get a top 10 finish here in Pocono as Eric Almirola gets win number 1 on the season, locking himself into the playoffs now as you see the the point standings on your screen. Kevin Harvick, the points leader, has yet to get a victory this season, so he's looking to get some of those playoff points and a victory hopefully in the future if he wants to really be a playoff contender. He's certainly sitting on a bunch of playoff points, so if he wins the regular season points, so we'll see what happens there. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. In the next one, we go road course racing for both Xfinity and Cup at Watkins Glen, so hopefully we can run good here. We have a win in Watkins Glen in Season 2, so hopefully we can do that here in Season 4. So I will see you guys in the next episode as you see the playoff grid on the screen. Bowman's the last car in, so I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.